Todd, what's going on, man? It's good to see you. Look, you win a national championship. Look at the size of that smile that he's got coming on. Normally, when we get Todd Golden,
that's because I get to be here with you guys right now, man. That's why I'm so excited. It's been crazy, man. It's all good. Obviously, still, it really still hasn't sunk in all the way, I would say, and we had to get right back to work, as you all know, with the way our profession is and roster building and retention and getting ready for the summer and everything. But it's been a pretty special time, that's for sure.
Well, take me through how
Todd. Give me the biggest. Give me the coolest thing that's happened to you in the last 3 weeks since you won the national title. Give me the coolest thing or person, or give me a couple things if you got them.
The coolest thing for me, honestly, by far, I would say is, before we went to the tournament, Coach K had me on his podcast, for the first time. And people don't know this about me. Both my uncles went to Duke, and I grew up a big Duke fan, believe it or not, in Phoenix, Arizona. And so, being with him that first time was pretty special. And then he had me back on again after we won it. And, just hearing him talk about our team, and, he was right behind our bench for the final 4 games. And, he said, you guys were worthy of winning. You were worthy of winning. And hear that from Coach K, I was like, damn, dude, I should probably retire right now. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to top that. It was a pretty neat moment for sure.
So you grew up a Duke fan in Phoenix, Arizona. Were you also a Lakers fan and a Cowboys fan and a Yankees fan?
No, I'm not Jonathan Sapphire. I'm not that guy. I was loyal to the Phoenix Suns and loyal to the Arizona Cardinals. I grew up a Cubs fan because we didn't have baseball early on in Arizona until the Diamondbacks came into existence. But I can understand why it might be received as that when hearing that I was a Duke fan for sure.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let me ask you this, right? You were you did a year in the real world, in the business world, after you finished playing for Maccabi Haifa, right? Did I pronounce that right? Maccabi
Haifa, yeah.
Killed it.
Maccabi Haifa. I obliterated that. I'm sorry. I did butcher it. You're right. I apologize. But you did a year in the real world, and I think that was what, like 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. If I would have told you in 2012 that you're about a decade away from taking the Florida Gators back to a national championship, what would you have told me?
I would have thought you were out of your mind, dude. I never in a million years, would have thought that this was kind of the path that would have been taken. And I played those 2 years overseas, and a big part of going into the business world was I just, I wanted to move back to the Bay Area, go hang out with my friends, have weekends and kind of live a normal life. And after doing that for about 18 months and spending a lot of the time in, a suit and tie selling advertising and marketing assets, I realized that, I might want to try this basketball thing again. And fortunately, Kyle had a spot open. Kobe Altman had just left his staff at Columbia to go work in the NBA with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I took the director of basketball ops job, and the rest is history.
All right. So what has it been like? Because again, you end the season on the ultimate high, winning the national title. You have that kind of boat parade that night. Give us a glimpse into that first, and then what it's been like, the insanity of the portal since, and watching a roster that you thought would, where you hoped it would remain intact, and it hasn't quite been that way.
Yeah, no, I mean, the range of emotions, from winning it, everything you can imagine. I mean, just the highest of highs. Our staff has been together for a long time, so being able to go from starting really at Columbia with a majority of these guys to getting to an incredible place like Florida and winning national championship was something that we were all incredibly proud of. As you guys know, we had a really special group this year. Those 3 senior guards on the perimeter gave us great leadership, and then our front court guys like Alex Condon, Tommy Houck, Ruben and Micah. We just had a really deep, complete team, and we had that boat parade. We were able to be honored in a couple of different things, around campus in Gainesville, and it was just amazing, man. It just was something that we'll never forget, and right into the portal, as you said. And, we've done a pretty good job for the most part, retaining the guys that we wanted to keep. Obviously, losing Denzel was tough, and, we wish him nothing but the best. But, I'm pretty confident we'll be able to find someone to take that spot, and I think the Gators will have a pretty good group again next year.
Have you had a chance to really soak in and celebrate this championship yet?
No, no, not really. There's different times, right? Like when my wife and I are sitting eating at dinner, and it just kind of pops in your head that you won a national championship. I mean, it's a little surreal still. Like I said, and there's been moments where Carlin Hartman and I, or our staff and I, just sit there and kind of pinch ourselves and that we've been able to make it to the pinnacle of our profession. But I'm not sure we ever will, to be honest. I think there will be times and moments where we enjoy it, but the joy is definitely in the doing, and being able to be with this group for 40 games is amazing. And, we're going to try to replicate it and do it again.
You brought in Xavier Lee. I think you could talk about him. I think you guys signed him from Princeton. Guard who's certainly going to help. Give people a feel, because he was in the Ivy, so not a lot of people got a chance to see him a ton of times. Give people a feel for what he's going to bring to the Gators and how you're going to utilize him.
Yeah, I think Xavier is just, first of all, he's an elite offensive player. I think that's the best way I would describe him. He's, and even at Princeton, in the Ivy League, the one thing that really stood out to us about his performance was he has always performed as well against tier A and B competition as he does against everybody else. And to be able to do that, obviously playing in our league, you're playing against most all A and B teams, and just an incredible shooter, has gotten better there every year at Princeton. Where he's incredibly elite is his ball handling and his playmaking. He had like a 35% assist rate with a 14% turnover rate last year. And for the stat nerds like us, to have an assist rate like that and a turnover rate that low says a lot about his ball handling and his playmaking ability. And, I just think he's going to be able to give us a big scoring punch and playmaking punch, from the point guard position. And we'll play him on the ball quite a bit this year.
You have to be the only coach in the country that's going to get on here and start talking about assist rates and turnover rates and trying to identify players in the tournament. I love it, because that's exactly the stuff that like us college basketball internet people do, and it's kind of cool to see you be able to do that. The one guy I wanted to hit you on, you mentioned him earlier, Tommy Hawk. I have a list right now. It's a very short list right now, but a list of guys that I'm going to have for breakout stars for next year. Everyone loves doing these lists. I only have 3 people on the list. The first name that I wrote down was Tommy Hawk. Yeah, breakout stars. Tommy Hawk. Talk to me about him.
He broke out already. He already broke out.
He broke out in the tournament. Oh, he broke out all year, to your point, but he's going to really be on everybody's radar going into this season. Tommy is the consummate teammate, the consummate winner. Just, his willingness to do whatever it took for us to be successful was at the forefront all year. He came off the bench for us, and then when Kondo went down with an ankle in the middle of the year, he stepped into a starting role and played fantastic. And, obviously Tommy didn't start for us, but he finished most games for us. And, got really confident shooting the ball, attacking the rim off closeouts. That's where he made his biggest jump. He only scored 3 or 4 points a game as a freshman for us, and averaged 9 a game this year, and really double figures for a majority of conference play. But he's a guy that's really maturing into a complete player, has the ability to score, obviously both inside, and then he's stretching it out from 3. He play makes well. He can really pass for a front court player. And we're going to play him more at the 3 this year. We hope that we get his running mate Alex Condon back, and if we do, we'll play really, really big this year. We'll start Tommy at the 3, Kondo at the 4, and one of the other bigs at the 5, and try to overpower people a little bit. But Tommy's he's a definite NBA player. I'm really glad and fortunate that he's coming back for sure for the Gators next year.
All right, my last question for you. Again, I'm guessing you're somewhere on one of those beaches in the LA area. I'm not going to guess which one, but when you walk around now, like nobody knew who you were 3.5 weeks ago. Let's be honest. Nobody knew. You could walk everywhere and nobody. Am I wrong?
Nobody. No, that's correct. Even in Gainesville up until about the middle of the year.
So what is it like now? Is it the same when you're outside of Gainesville right now and you're walking up and down that beach boulevard right there behind you? If you walked up and down a mile, how many people would recognize you now, do you think?
Honestly, I think I'm pretty clear out here. I'm not wearing any Gator clothes. I got the Ray-Bans if I need them, so I can keep the eyes behind. And, as you guys know, it's a pretty relaxed vibe out here. I'm not sure how many folks that are walking these boardwalks watch the Gators this year, but the game has changed in Gainesville. I can promise you that.